All right, let's move to a happier story now. A team on the West Coast that is doing big things. I'm talking about the Seattle Mariners. 6 straight wins, 15 and 4. 15 and 4 since the deadline, since they traded their closer, Paul Sewald. That was actually on July 30th. 15 and 4 since then. Now, that was a curious trade. Trade your closer in the middle of a pennant race. It almost seems like a hedge at best, maybe a soft sell. You're not really trying, maybe, but that's not how the Mariners saw it. They never looked at it in that regard. What they saw was the opportunity to improve their offense short-term and long-term with Dominic Canzone and Josh Rojas, two of the players they got from the Diamondbacks, and also help their long-term possibilities with an infield prospect they also acquired in the deal named Ryan Bliss. Now, it hasn't really worked from an offensive standpoint until yesterday when Canzone had 4 hits in a 7-6 win over the Astros. Canzone hadn't hit, Rojas hadn't hit. So from that perspective, hasn't been such a big deal. But the trade has improved their overall depth, improved them against right-handed pitching. Both Canzone and Rojas are left-handed hitters, and should help them going forward here even this season. What's interesting about the deal is that when the Mariners traded Sewald, they were doing it from a position of strength. They had a very deep bullpen, and they felt they could withstand his loss and still be really competitive as they went forward. That's happened. That bullpen since the deadline has been one of the best in the game. Hasn't suffered really at all. 4 different relievers have earned saves. They're in good shape. So here are the Mariners, and of course I haven't even mentioned Julio Rodriguez, and they've finally come around. And yes, Julio is a big part of why they've come around. Their offense is the major reason they have come around. Let's take a look at where they have gone month by month in terms of runs per game. March, April, not very good, 4.29. May, a little bit better, 4.61. June, regression to 4.50. Then in July, starting about July 1st, they really started to come on. 4.77 runs per game in July, and in August, 5.39. Julio, of course, with his tear of late, is a huge part of that. But here's a team that suddenly looks rather dangerous. They hold the 3rd wildcard position in the American League. They are only 3 games out of first place in the American League West, just 3 games behind the Texas Rangers. And should they get into the postseason, which now looks somewhat likely, their odds are up to 60%. Should they get in, no team is going to want to face a rotation led by Luis Castillo, George Kirby, and Logan Gilbert. So the Mariners, really interesting the way they've gone about it and what they've done. A lot of this story, again, is their offense finally playing the way the club officials thought that they would perform all year long. This was a disappointing team offensively for the first half of the season, an underperforming team. But now, the Mariners are who they thought they were going to be.